Good afternoon. My name is Richard Griffin. I'm Director of Economic Development for the City of Frederick. It's good to be with you this afternoon. So fusion is the process of joining two or more things together to form a single entity. So what do you get when you blend Civil War heritage, biotechnology, beer brewing, public art, supercomputing, and old architecture? You get fusion, Frederick style. City of Frederick is a unique laboratory. 21 square miles, 65,000 people, 3,500 businesses in a 40-square block historic downtown. But in 1745, long before fusion, German settlers staked out Frederick and built churches, homes, and businesses, and most of them still stand today. And over the next 266 years, many natural and human events triggered a chain reaction. But during the Civil War, because Frederick's location between the battles of Monocacy and Antietam and Gettysburg, Frederick was transformed into a hospital town. We were ransomed from burning, and modern-day triage was invented at that time in that area. By the turn of the century, Frederick was a leader in canning, tanning, and knitting industries, delivering such products to market in Baltimore by rail, and dozens of brick buildings with magnificent timber trusses were constructed at that time. In 1937, Camp Detrick was established as an air base in Frederick, and by World War II, Fort Detrick was the home of military bioresearch, and scientists were attracted by the hundreds to the area, settling with their families. And during those days, downtown was the social scene, the center of the community. And downtown flourished with hotels and office buildings and department stores and theaters and government. And many people lived either in or near downtown in residential neighborhoods with schools and parks. But following World War II, Frederick began to suburbanize like every other community. The automobile became a dominant part of life. The new strip shopping center became part of our everyday existence, and neighborhoods were built. Commuting became a staple of life. In 1971, President Nixon declared an end to U.S. biowarfare and turned over many of Fort Detrick's labs to the National Cancer Institute. And the remaining Army labs became central to developing vaccines for potential biological threats. But by this time, unfortunately, the loss of businesses and residents to the suburbs, along with a major flood in 1976, resulted in vacant buildings and the deterioration of downtown. The canning, tanning, and knitting industries were gone, and factory buildings were empty. But adversity is the mother of invention, and this is where fusion began in Frederick. A mile-long flood control project was initiated, and FEMA removed downtown from the 100-year floodplain, and long vacant properties were purchased, and revitalization began. And critical elements included new industry, coupled with festivals and great schools and a growing population. And Maryland's first neighborhood business works loan was made to convert a former City Hall building into a microbrewery. Frederick was viewed by many in the region as an affordable place to live, with easy highway access to critical services like airports and jobs. And this led to exponential population growth, housing development, and talented workforce. And adding fuel is Fort Detrick, growing to nearly 10,000 employees and 5 cabinet-level agencies, home of the National Interagency Biodefense Campus. The National Cancer Institute continued to grow, now expanding off of Fort Detrick at its new initiative at Riverside. And if you add into that, remember the workforce I mentioned? Well, many sought to avoid commuting, instead to become entrepreneurs, starting technology businesses in Frederick's new high-tech incubator. Existing buildings were converted into labs and offices, and a chain reaction had begun. Carroll Creek Park was completed with new mixed-use buildings. Business growth increased the need for new offices, labs, and manufacturing buildings, with biotech industry leading the way. And Frederick became a job creation leader with companies like MedImmune and State Farm and Bechtel and Charles River Labs, Lockheed, Morningstar, Fairchild, Dyneport Vaccine, and Life Technologies. And this new economy emerged from fusion of old and new, bringing hip new retail to Main Street, restaurants, services, and a creative workforce. Upper story flats were renovated and restored, and residents poured back into downtown. Yesterday's factory buildings are being reused for today's technology. Businesses like the 25 tech firms now located in funky old offices on upper floors in downtown, employing several hundred workers who like being near food, coffee, beer, and entertainment. Old communities have a unique opportunity to blend history and technology. In Frederick's case, blending raw talent, with cool old buildings, Civil War technology, Civil War heritage, cutting-edge technology, beer and art releases energy we call fusion, Frederick.